Today, we're going to talk about the truth about why women lose friendships and provide some tips that we think will help you keep yours alive.
So, tip number one is a little bit of a sensitive subject, or however you want to word it, talking about jealousy, envy, and comparison. We as women tend to do that. And I don't mean jealousy in a way of, oh, I'm jealous of your husband or any thing like that. It's more like life. Like, I'm envious and jealous because you make more money than me. You have a bigger, nicer house than me. You're a better cook than me. A lot of things that we as women compare. It's just like when you go to a children's play group. Oh, my daughter, she's only 1 year old and she's potty trained. Oh, no, she's not, but that's okay. And you're like, oh, my kid's 3 years old and I'm still working on it. Those things that make you feel less than.
Yes.
And comparison is a big one because it does create jealousy and envy. And those are things, if I can't get past the fact that maybe you're farther in life than me, maybe you have a bigger house than me, maybe you don't live paycheck to paycheck, things like that are things where you have to kind of look at, okay, so can I accept these things? Can I learn how I can get there as well? Because let me tell you something, as you know, jealousy and envy are very, very ugly emotions.
And I think you have to realize too, a lot of that then resides within yourself.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
If you are feeling jealous or envious because somebody has a bigger house than you, I mean, is that bigger house something you want anyway? Or are you fully happy with where you're at in life?
Right.
Because we all know that having a bigger house or having a better car doesn't always bring the happiness that some people desire.
Exactly.
And so a lot of times when you talk about jealousy and envy, is that something you're putting on yourself? And are you possibly resenting that person because maybe you do want the bigger house? Or on the flip side of that, do they make you feel less than because you may not have as big a house as them? So that's where it has to be decided. Like, are you putting that on yourself? If so, like Katie said, you have to be like, okay, well, am I going to let my personal feelings end this friendship because I feel this way, but my friend is not putting that on me? She's not acting like she's better
Nope.
than me
Nope.
because she has a bigger house or a fancier car. So that's a distinction that you have to figure out inside of yourself.
And I think comparison is what society's drilled into us. Losing weight, being prettier, doing more stuff, cooking dinners every night, being the everything person, the everything woman. I work, I raise my kids, I do that, and I'm so happy doing it. And then you're like, are you? Are they really that happy?
Yeah.
That's what every magazine promotes. And then you compare yourself to that person because you're exhausted, quite honestly.
Right?
And I think that's a lot of problem with some social media, not all,
Right.
is we put on this front of I'm doing this and everything's so great, when really you might know them personally, you know they hate their husband, okay? Their house is a mess.
They don't like to cook.
They don't like to cook, okay? They burn everything. So it's like, what's real and what's not? And you got to kind of weed through those things. But again, is that person putting that on you or are you putting it on yourself?
Right.
And a lot of times it's us putting it on ourselves because of the push of being the perfect mom, the perfect worker, the perfect housekeeper, the perfect everything that puts so much pressure. And when you see somebody that seems to be perfect, that's
Right.
where all that jealousy, envy, and comparison comes from. And then things can sometimes start to fall apart.
Yeah, and it's sad to end a friendship over that, especially because, like Katie said, a lot of things nowadays are portrayed one way, but they're not like that in reality. But depending on what the situation is, if you're putting that on yourself, then that's something you have to work through and decide, like, okay, do I want to continue this friendship even though I'm having these feelings? So we do believe that is one reason why female friendships do tend to fall apart. unreal
Don't get me wrong.
expectations.
If Lisa won the lottery, would I be jealous? No, because she's going to break me off at least a couple $1,000,000.
100%. Absolutely, I would. And this has already been discussed.
Exactly. So now if she weren't gonna, would I be jealous? Absolutely. Would it end my friendship because I expect these few $1,000,000? Yup.
Oh, because I wouldn't be around. So
Yeah, really.
I would be traveling.
She'd be gone. She wouldn't care.
I sure would. It wouldn't end our friendship though,
No.
because I would peel off. I would peel off some
couple.
bills.
Depends
But
on how
here's
much
the
you
thing:
won.
she doesn't like to do anything, so she wouldn't be traveling with me. So I'd be.
Well, I might if we had all kinds of money.
You probably no, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
So
it's possible.
So that's one thing. That's one of the reasons that we feel like some female friendships fall apart. And just a quick break. If you enjoy this kind of content that, we're putting out, and a lot of it, all of it actually based on our friendship of over 3 decades at this point, feel free to tap that subscribe button and leave us some comments about your stories. We would love to hear them and share them as well. And, get feedback from all of you. And I think the next one that we want to talk about is a lot of people think that female friendships are frictionless, meaning that they just work and there's never issues and there's never problems. And that couldn't be farther from the truth.
And if we do, because we're women, we should just accept them and move on.
Yeah, that's definitely not true.
And you don't want to do that.
Right.
You don't want to do that.
Because when there's friction in your friendship, would you do that with any other relationship if you had friction? Would you just accept it and move on, or just forget about it, not talk about it and glaze over it? No. And friendships are just as important as your marriage. Well, okay. That might be a little, I don't know.
It's a relationship.
It is a relationship. Yes. So it's just as important as any other relationship.
Right.
And you don't want to ignore it if there are points of friction in your friendships.
Because
you want to discuss them.
What happens if you don't?
Well, then you grow apart.
Yeah.
You grow apart. You have underlying feelings that eventually are going to come up, bubble over, or there's going to, it'll build some resentment.
A big fight will happen.
Or possibly a big fight will happen.
Yep.
Or you're just going to silently grow apart.
Exactly.
So I think a lot of people stereotype women's friendships as, they just work.
Yep.
They just work. That couldn't be farther from the truth. They don't just work.
No.
They take effort.
They take work.
They take work.
And we're not here to push that our friendship is perfect by any means. This is what we learned over 3 decades.
Yes.
And looking at your friendships and where you want to be, this is just what we're trying to help you with. The stuff that we've learned. This friendship is not perfect. It never will be perfect. It will always have learning moments and things like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Female friendships are important, but they are not always easy.
That's right.
Yep.
They're definitely have their times, just like any other relationship.
Yep.
And, they take effort and they take commitment if you are interested in keeping that long-term friendship.
Yep.
So there is, I believe there is kind of a stereotype out there that a lot of people think, women friendships are just so easy, but they're not. They're not. They do take work.
And I think part of it is, let's be honest here, women can be a bit petty. And the littlest stuff can break you apart. So if that pettiness, like I do believe the jealousy, envy, and comparison, that can be petty. And that's on you. Are you being petty, or can you be genuinely happy for that person?
Yeah.
So can you be? Like, I'm genuinely happy, I feel like, for Lisa's accomplishments. I feel like she is for my accomplishments. And even in my workplace or wherever, I feel like we can generally be happy for people. But I have in the past been envious and compared because I have children. My kids are growing up. Like I said, their kids walking when they're 2 and this or 1 or whatever. And so I have to check myself and say, you got to let that go. That's just not the real world.
Right. Yeah, we're certainly not saying that we've never been jealous or envious or that we have not compared. We absolutely have done that.
Yes.
We absolutely have.
Yep.
But that's where you make that decision, right? Is that you putting that on yourself?
Exactly.
But, yeah, and there's been friction.
Yes.
And there's been friction in our friendship.
Oh yeah.
But to us, it's worth it to invest, which is our last one. It's an investment, just like any other relationship. You have to invest the emotional energy and the time and the willingness to continue to keep your friendship alive for the other two reasons that we just discussed, because there will be friction. There will possibly be times when you're jealous or envious of accomplishments or certain things like that that your friend is having. And so it takes an investment to grow, just like many things, right? Just like your money takes an investment to grow. So you have to invest that if you are willing and you want to keep that friendship alive.
And in those investments, just like any investment you make, you got to keep an eye on it. You got to keep it in check.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make moves when you need to. You got to take control of it when you need to. You have to learn from it when you need to. And that's just things, investment across the board. It just happens to fall into friendship as well, because a good friendship like ours is a huge investment, in my opinion.
It is.
You know, it's priceless.
It is priceless. And it's taken years of, I'm not going to say trial and error, but kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone through it.
Yep.
Everything in our friendship for many, many years. And we've practiced all three of these. Like I said, we've been jealous, we've been envious, maybe not of each other, others, you know, that type of thing. But we've always invested the time and the communication and keeping each other in check and being honest with each other.
I think an example I can use, a personal example, which we've talked about on a previous episode of drifting apart when she was so involved in CrossFit. I was definitely jealous of all the new friends she had and all the time they spent together. And yeah, it sucked. And I don't know that she knew I was jealous. I didn't want to say it because she did try to include me. I did go out with them, but I always felt apart from them, you know, and I was definitely jealous. And that lasted for quite a while.
Your jealousy did?
Of that group of people,
yes.
That I was not a part of. Not because she pushed me out or anything. She was more than welcoming for me to be in that, but I just didn't feel like a part of it, I guess.
Right.
And I don't think it ever showed out to her. And maybe it did because I kind of pulled back because I'm like, well, she's got all these friendships and that, and she's invested in them. And so I'm just going to stay to the side. And yeah, I was jealous for sure.
And it was a long period of time. And it took over. I mean, just not only the training itself, like she said, like we went out together as a community all the time.
Yes.
We went to competitions. We did competition. We put on competitions. We trained 5 days, 6 days a week with each other. We had parties together. So,
and she would invite me when they would go out to dinner, but then all they would talk about was CrossFit. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's an example for me of I recall very precisely being jealous. Not a good feeling, but I got past that because I was happy for her accomplishments and what she was doing, and that she really had a good community, good people, really good people surrounding her, and that felt like family, and that I was happy about that.
Yeah.
So that definitely, though I was jealous, that feeling genuinely happy for her overrode the jealousy part.
Yeah. And we made it through that period too.
We did.
So here we are today.
Yep.
If you enjoy this content, again, drop us a comment. These are just three of the reasons that we believe that women's friendships are so hard. And sometimes why people lose their friends.
Why they fall apart.
Yeah, why they fall apart. So drop us a line. Thank you for joining us again. Go visit us over on the Friendship Formula. And we will see you in the next episode every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Bye.